Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Welcome to the Blue Chip Podcast by fans for fans. This is your host Cody Potter. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the Commanders' options coming up in this offseason, man. Coming into the season, man, I've talked a lot on the pod, a lot of college, man, a lot of defensive breakdowns, things like that, man. I've been working on the wide receivers a lot lately, and a lot of that had to do with a lot of the things that I was seeing from the Commanders so far this season, man. It's been pretty crazy, man. You see what you see out of Jayden Daniels the first year. As a rookie, you saw what he did in college with Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., things like that. We had talked about Brian Thomas Jr. before the trade deadline, things like that. Of course, when he gets hurt, dislocated elbow. I guess I'm going to really actually start with Marshawn Nealon, man. If you guys are dealing with anything, man, call somebody. Somebody cares. Somebody loves you, man, in this world. Social media is crazy, man. Everybody looks like their life is, on top. But, prayers up to his family, friends, anybody. Just check on your people, man. Marshawn Nealon, 24 years old. It's just, I'm a Commanders fan. I don't care. I scout all these players, coming out. He was a really, really talented player. Went to Dallas, man. Had everything in front of him. It's just you got to stop. You got to stop hearing about this, hurting yourself, ending your life, man, whatever it is, man. Call somebody cares, man. Somebody cares, and it's just sad to know people get that low, and whatever it is, man. His mom passing away a year ago, man. Trust me, that resonates with me. It just, man. We all have things, man, and it's easy to get on social media and start trolling people. It's fun. It's cool to clown people. It really isn't, man. The truth is, man, everybody's just trying to do their best every day. So prayers up for him and his family. So I'll start there. But with Jayden Daniels, the injury situation, things like that, I've really tapped back into last year, what I saw from him, things at LSU that you saw his Heisman year, things that you saw from him his first year at LSU, where he was more normal, probably looking like a third-round draft pick. He was a guy I was really high on before he went to Arizona State University. Flashed a lot of those things when he had Brandon Ayuk. There's a constant that I'm noticing with him, man. I talk on football's future all the time, man. Me and this guy E, man, we do a lot of scouting, and we bounce a lot of things off each other, man. So I've really kind of shifted my focus onto this, man, because as much as I'm a defensive guy, man, I really love defense, man. The wide receiver position, man, this is something that, with just everything, we can all blame AP. I really do agree that AP probably should have stood pat at the trade deadline, unless he was going to sell a couple players. But, dude, I don't think this roster is as far off. You can watch this team, and we've underperformed, whatever. We're playing against good teams. But, dude, there are players on this team that can excel, and they have a spot on this roster moving forward. So, with all the doom and gloom for this season, it hasn't clicked. The reps, Kurt Warner going over the tape saying he should have hit this, should have hit that. Dude, we can all break down plays as it comes throughout the year, man. But realistically, in the system of football, there's comfort. There's so many things that go into playing that position. He's still a second-year player in this league, no matter what it is. I'm showing Carnell Tate right now, man. He's going to be probably in the range that we're projected to be picking. He's probably going to be the first wide receiver off the board. He gives you the best, I think, highway speed, 6'3", the quickness, the nuances in the route running, the things like that, the feet, the discipline. Ohio State just they put them out, man. They are pros coming into the NFL. We see it with Emeka Ibuka. He's a guy I would have taken last year if available, but there was no way. I mean, just going out on the grades, man. If he was there, you take him. I would have taken him over Connolly. I would have taken him over just about anybody. But you watch this tape. There was just no way he was going to fall. Carnell Tate, I think we're projected to pick at 9. A lot of things are going to happen through the season. So, looking at draft range and stuff like this early in the year, you have no idea. But the things that I've come away with watching this season is what would make the best. I mean, when you have a quarterback, that can play. We know Jayden Daniels can play. There has been a little bit of regression, but a lot of that has to do with comfort, man. When you have a second-year quarterback, a first-year quarterback, third-year quarterback, fourth-year quarterback, man, the biggest thing you can do is put assets around them. I like how they I like what Adam Peters and them did. They picked Josh Connolly Jr. He's having a little bit of that rough rookie year. Lane Johnson did it coming out of Oklahoma when he switched from left tackle to right tackle in the pros. Had a little bit of a, growing up. It's hard to change positions from one side to the next, and you don't think about it like that, but it is. But Josh Connolly going forward is going to be a good player, and he's one snap you watch him, he's excelling. The next snap you watch him, you're like, damn, he just got bedded up. And that's just what's going to happen in the NFL, man. So Carnell Tate is a guy that you just love everything about him, man. He fits the mold of a Brian Thomas Jr. type, can take the top off the defense vertically. And realistically, you're thinking long term, man. You're paying Terry McLaurin. You might even pay Debo this offseason. I think Debo's happy to be here. There's going to be things that you want to see moving forward with this team. But at the end of the day, you gotta start somewhere. And when you have a guy like Jayden Daniels who has shown that he can play in this league, that he has shown you that he can do a lot of the things from this team, that this team that they need him to do, you got to have the type of wide receivers that are going to excel with this guy. There's a ton of wide receivers in college football, man. They come out every year. They all have different skill sets. It's a pick your poison kind of thing. I like the precision route runner kind of guys a lot more, I think, so much than the big bodies most of the time. I prefer the quick shifty, the Justin Jeffersons of the world. Maybe they are 6'1", whatever they are, but I really do prioritize route running and gaining separation early in the route, not having to manufacture your touches. Every offensive coordinator can say, I'm going to put you on a little 5-yard post, slant route, whatever. I can do in and outs and little quick breaks and things like that, and manufacture you a touch. But guys that can get it on their own, that can create separation, man, they're really, really good. That's what you really, really want, man. Jordan Tyson is another wide receiver in this draft class. He's going to be really good. One of the cornerbacks that I really, really like in this class, too, Kelly out of Mississippi State, gave him the hardest half of football I think he's had in college football. But, Jordan Tyson's a guy that can gain separation, man. He's shifty. He catches the ball above the rim. He does everything you want. He's more the prototype of what I look for in that 6'1", 6'2" range. Quick, shifty separation, things like that. Can catch above the rim, just like you're seeing right there. He really does do it for me at like the Arizona State level. You're going to have a lot of preferences, man. There's Mekhi Lemon. There's all sorts of guys in college football. I've already spoken about Denzel Boston, how much I like him. But then you got to think about the fit and what they're going to be for this team. How do you use them moving forward? The biggest thing for me is having Terry McLaurin. He's getting up there in age. Terry McLaurin is going to when he's on the field, he's going to ball. I don't expect him to miss much more time. When next year is going to be what it's going to be, but you can't put all your horses into that basket, man. You got to have a 1A, 1B in this league. Jayden Daniels, I think his best superpower is the way that he distributes the ball. Just that cerebral point guard that can get rid of the ball or he can move it with his legs. It's always looking to pass and then running it. With Debo Samuel this year, that's a schematical type of wide receiver. I think Debo would have had a hell of a year had Terry McLaurin been healthy. Zach Ertz had more of the impact underneath, routing guys up early in the routes. That never happened because Terry McLaurin, so you were able to shift more to Zach Ertz, who is a guy that's aging anyway, and he doesn't give you much in between the 20s, but you still could have used him in manufactured touches and things like that. But the things just haven't clicked for the Commanders this year, man. And the 3 injuries in this year, all 3 from a hip drop tackle, man. You got to keep your quarterback safe. As much as everybody wants to fire Joe Witt, as much as everybody, we need to fix the defense, we need to use the picks there. Yes, we're probably going to talk about it again next year because I'm assuming they're going to spend some money in free agency on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to identify keys and weak spots that they need to get better in. I would love to get Caleb Downs. Would love to get Ruben Bain Jr. Would love to get Akeem Mazador and all these guys that we've talked about all season long. That said, you gotta invest around the quarterback. Right now, the first window, the rookie window, where you're really going to progress your player to about as good as he's going to get, other than slow, methodical improvements throughout the year throughout his career as the season slows down. This is the most critical time to have key players around him that can make plays for him. Terry McLaurin is the safety outlet. Debo Samuel schematically is going to be a weapon for this team. But you need that 1B piece, man. You cannot rely on Noah Brown going into next year. And as good as Luke McCaffrey is shown to be in certain moments and certain highlights, he was always going to take time to develop himself. So developing a wide receiver that was a quarterback in college around your rookie quarterback and your young quarterback who has an elite skill set. Jayden Daniels has an elite skill set. He is very good at distributing the ball. He's very good at seeing the field. But as much as teams have been keen on him, rushing that, when they're all out blitzing you with a spy behind it, they're just begging you. They're begging you to run, and he's running into it because nobody is getting open. Or when they are getting open, he doesn't necessarily trust that player in that moment. And that's what I'm saying. You got to be able to improve this roster around him. You do want to protect the ball better, but you can't protect better unless you can make the defense respect you over the top. Without Terry McLaurin, teams do not respect us over the top. And people are going to say, "Oh, you can't take a wide receiver. Taking a wide receiver round one is crazy. You look at the defense. Look at the defense. It's not about just next year. It's about going forward. Terry McLaurin next year will be 31." Going through that season, he's not getting any younger. You have a few years left of Terry McLaurin, but you need to be able to have that 1A, 1B relationship and then be able to develop that guy to take over for Terry McLaurin when he's done. This defense is not just a one-off season, fix it, and it's going to be top 5. So, realistically, getting the best pieces that you can around Jayden Daniels is more critical to this team moving forward. This is why I'm always scouting. I'm always looking at the team-building avenue. And again, for me, talking about picking a wide receiver in the top 10, man, usually I'm like, dude, he's got to be that guy. The game has changed. The wide receivers get paid. Having a premier wide receiver that's on a rookie contract would be the best thing, I think, for this team moving forward, only because it maximizes the opportunities for Jayden Daniels to excel and get this offense going and at least get us back to where we compete in ball games and be in the ball games no matter how the defense is playing. It didn't matter how the defense played the year before. You can improve in tackling and aspects, and when you stay healthy, of course, your starters are on the field, you're going to tackle better, you're going to get better pressure on the quarterback. When you're on your third defensive end, you're on your third safety, you're on your third corner, whatever it is, your defense is going to struggle, and that's just the way of the NFL. And defenses with their starters struggle because of the way the rules are. So for right now, getting Jayden Daniels all the help that he can get so he does not have to run for his life and we just continue to risk him in the injuries and things like that, I think it's going to be very critical for this team moving forward to really have a plan, maybe invest in a position that maybe they weren't thinking about investing, but in this last offseason, it would have been critical, to add a guy like T. Higgins. I'm sure if, these players had been available, some of these players would have been added on this and we would have maybe spent some money. Maybe that's why there was extra money allotted from the cap that we're rolling over into this year. A big reason why is players probably didn't become available that you were willing to spend those kind of contracts on. There's KC Conception, there's Carnell Tate, there's a ton of wide receivers. Mekhi Lemon, man, there's a lot of really good players coming out in this class, man. You got J.C. Brown, really good player. I can show you highlights of a lot of players, man. It doesn't really matter who the guy is. Pick your poison, whoever it is. There's enough wide receivers to like, but the biggest thing is finding that guy across from Terry McLaurin that is going to grow with Jayden Daniels in the long term. They're going to get paid very close together. They're going to command a lot of cap together. But going forward, by then, you will have certain veterans that are making big money deals right now that will be off the books. And you will have completely reshaped this roster around Jayden Daniels come the time to pay him. So finding these guys and finding these players that are going to be able to excel and grow long-term with Jayden, that's the best thing that this team can do moving forward. You can just tell the offense is slow. We don't have anybody that this defense respects over the top, so they're able to come down and they're able to spy Jayden and they'll be able to make Jayden do certain things and run around for his life, and we just can't continue to live that way. Now, when you have the investment in this type of talent, you got to be able to give this guy weapons to be able to produce on the field. You see it in Detroit. You have the Amon-Ra St. Brown, then you have, Jameson Williams over the top. Terry McLaurin gives you a little bit of both of those guys. He's not Jameson Williams the burner, but he does have that elite type of speed. You add a Carnell Tate, and then you have Terry McLaurin. It just opens more things up for the both of them, and then you really start to teams underneath. Maybe then you start to get the best out of Ben Sinnott moving forward. We can only hope that by the end of this season, he starts getting some reps and starts to get to flash his own skill set. This Mekhi Lemon, he's a absolute beast, man. Just dog mentality. Goes up and high points the ball, man. Plays way bigger than his size. Can route you up. I don't think he's as fast as some of the other two guys that we've talked about naturally, but his route pedigree and all that, man, he's a dog. He's an absolute dog. I wouldn't mind any three of them wide receivers. Actually, any of the wide receivers that I mentioned so far. So again, man, just a fun episode to kind of talk about what really would be the best situation for this team to not just improve for next year. Improvement next year is going to come just by on health, just on the, being able to key on holes on this team and then identify and fill them with younger free agents and through the draft. Every team is going to get better next year, whether they perform better or not next year. That's always due to injuries and things like that and things that you can't control moving forward. It happened to us this year, as you can tell. But looking at the best thing for this team and for our quarterback moving forward and his development to maximize his skill set and get this offense to at least start to put up points in the NFL, which you got to do to win games. And the rules are just skewed to the defense, man. So our defense might struggle another year. Whatever it is, man, getting this team to be able to perform at its best level, have your quarterback performing at its best level. You see it with Dak Prescott this year. Everybody clowns whatever it is, but when George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are on that field, Dak Prescott is distributing, man. You want Jayden Daniels to be able to work the field, man. You do not want him running around, being your leading rusher again, which he was basically going to be if he had stayed healthy this year, the way that we're playing schematically. And we got to be able to find a running back that can be able to impact in the pass game. We saw the loss of Austin Eckler early this year and how that's impacted the run game because we don't have a safety outlet for Jayden Daniels, again, causing him to run. It's just systematic. It's the things that we need to do to be able to compete in this division and in the league and everything like that moving forward. I think the best turnaround is going to be able to get Jayden Daniels the weapons that he can build with going forward and age with and grow with, and they can only start out producing what they're going to do younger in their career moving forward and take over for the Terry McLaurins and the Austin Ecklers, the Brian Robinson Juniors and guys like that, because I think our offensive line is good enough to be able to play systematically to this scheme. So again, just a fun little episode I wanted to do. I'm going to do my look ahead for the Lions game. It's not going to be pretty. But, I'm going to get into that in my next episode, man. It's just this was something that I've been talking about pretty much for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Kind of missed the Seattle breakdown preview for you guys. It's kind of sick, things like that, man. I could barely even talk. So I was just like I said, I'm getting some episodes in here, man, trying to look ahead for this offseason, man, because that's really where it's going to matter for this team. I mean, short of going on some miracle run that honestly is going to throw us out of draft position. I mean, honestly, you would like to see this team gel a little bit more, maybe get some guys healthy and come back and show you that this team isn't as far away from what we thought they were coming into the season. Those would be some victories that would be nice, whether we win, lose, or draw, whatever the final record is, man. At the end of the day, man, you just want to see some of the players that you have looking forward start making an impact, and that would be pretty much a win for this season, because it's pretty much shot. 3 pretty rough looking injuries on Jayden Daniels is enough for me for the year, man. Honestly, it's been pretty rough. I think we dodged another bullet with ligament damage and things like that. Whether he does get surgery or not, I think that news will come out in the next day or two. But no fractures so far. He's not on IR, so I think if that was going to happen, I think they would have known by now that there was some kind of, ligament damage and things like that. So, again, man, we can only hope. Either way, we want to see this kid grow. We don't want to put, dude, if he's not going to have Terry McLaurin, man, just don't even put him back out there, because systematically he's not. He's a gamer, dude. He's a gamer. He's going to try to win every play. He's going to try to make the best of every moment that he can on that football field. He's not a veteran. He's not going to hold back, so he's not going to be able to just, I'm just going to throw it away 5 times a day. It's just not who he is as a player, and you don't even want him to be that player. Yes, you want him to throw the ball away when he needs to, but you're not trying to deprogram what makes this dude great. What makes this dude great is distributing the ball. And if he doesn't have the players out there to distribute the ball and run the scheme that you can, then realistically, how much is he going to progress when he hasn't played this second season? In season, when he's dealing with injuries, it's just not feasible, man. He's not going to be the quarterback he's going to be 6 years from now, coming off of this injury, to come in and just say, hey, man, go out there and just do it without Terry. It's not going to happen. You're not going to gain anything further than what we've already done, and it's just hurt him again. So again, man, just we'll continue with this as we go, and we'll keep talking about the Commanders. We'll keep talking about the draft players, and we'll keep looking forward to the matchups, man. We'll see what we can find on tape and little things that we're hoping to see each week, and hopefully we can see those things each week and continue to build some kind of, positives going forward with some players, man. Luke being hurt, of course, that sucks. That was a guy you were looking forward to making an impact this year. Jordan McGee is starting to do it. Can Mikey Sanders still kind of get more comfortable in the role that he's playing? Can Trey Amos get back healthy, man? That hip was definitely flashing up this past week. You could tell he wasn't himself. He got beat for like the first time all year. So again, man, you're just trying to look and see this youth kind of make it together. Can you see Josh Connolly end the year strong, man? There's certain things you just want to see, win, lose, or draw, that you're going to look forward to, that you're just knowing, okay, this moving forward is what it is. And that's what you're looking for, man. And I think Dan Quinn is the right type of coach to keep it level in the locker room and be able to understand smart enough to what it is. So is Adam Peters. They know what the NFL is like, man, with all the injuries that we have. They know what the rest of the year's, what you're trying to get out of the rest of the season. Having Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, and the veterans in there, yes, you could have gotten a 7th-round pick for them, but having them in the locker room as you start to transition to these young players as the season winds on, their experience and being able to come off the sideline and work with these guys, it's going to be more pivotal going forward to this team and the youth moving forward, man, to just keep them on the roster. We'll work trades and things like that in the offseason and things like that, and we'll work this roster around. And I know going into the draft next year, man, this will be a completely different looking team. So I trust AP, man, dude. I'm not going to sit there and knock AP and knock Dan Quinn for something that they inherited from Ron Rivera, which was 4 years of just busted draft picks that weren't even on the roster by the time that they got it. So again, man, when you miss on 4 first-round pick players in 4 years in a row and they're not even with your team anymore, when you inherit that team, it's going to take you multiple years to build, man. This is the start of it. As the years going through, man, I really felt like the wide receiver position was something that we really need to key on. That, or Jeremiah Love or something like that, a running back that can impact you in the passing game, but also be that guy that just when he's on the field, man, it's just dynamic, and you just have that safety outlet for Jayden Daniels. Jeremiah Love and Jayden Daniels in the same backfield would be absolutely insane, especially with Terry McLaurin out wide. Then maybe you go wide receiver in round 2 if you move back and are able to pick up a Jeremiah Love, something like that. Trust me, the amount of mock drafts and the amount of like opportunities to move up and down this board, we're gonna hear about all that in April. We can talk all these hypotheticals, and I will do it. But I mean, ultimately, what's going to happen is they're going to know, they're going to have a game plan going into this offseason. It'll be pretty evident what they're thinking in the draft as it comes up. They are best player available type, guys. So I mean, it's going to be between wide receiver, edge rusher, and whether Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Love, or somebody like that is on the board when they pick, and then it's going to be up to them to make the assessment as what is the best thing moving forward for this team. It could even be trading down because they can move back a couple spots because there's a couple more available than they thought would be. So again, we'll get there. It's a long year. Wasn't the year we expected to have, man, but we're going to get through it. So again, man, this is Cody from the Blue Chip Podcast. I appreciate you guys hanging around for the episode, man. Have a blessed week, man, and we'll get through this Detroit game, guys. We'll get through it. So have a blessed one. Peace.